Hello, my friends. Welcome to Get Good Limited. My name is Bull Skunk alongside Airborne, and we are here in day two of the qualifying rounds of the Get Good Limited tournament, brought to you by ExpressVPN, our wonderful sponsors for this event. We got a great schedule for you here today. Two matches coming at you from the intermediate division. That's going to be Diamond SR 3,000 to 34.99. A little bit later on, we're going to see Altair Wings taking on Jack Boys. I did not have to check my notes. Totally did not just have to check my notes. That didn't happen. That didn't happen. But first off,
immaculate
yes, we're gonna take a look at our wonderful schedule with our immaculate logos on the screen right now for you. But coming up first, we've got Dumpster Divers taking on Imps.
Be a pretty fun game. As you said, it was the 8th seed versus the 20th seed. So we are going to get probably a little bit good show of Overwatch. I do enjoy the Diamond division because you can see some weird stuff in this intermediate division.
You can. I mean, it's that kind of midway point between playing what's meta and the meta compositions having a big impact, and having that mastery of them will certainly go a long way for these teams. But also playing what's comfortable and what you're good at. If you can be aggressive and coordinated and get the focus fire. With any composition, you can make it work. We saw it happen in our EU matches earlier today, where we saw teams playing Wrecking Ball and Hog, which hasn't been meta for a bit, but they made it work, made a 3-0 sweep out of it. So it's an interesting blend of comfort picks and meta compositions.
Definitely. And just to start pulling up everything, we do have the rosters available for both of these great teams.
We do. Let's take a look at who we're going to see on the battlefield today. Dumpster Divers. We're going to have Duds, and Tommy will be filling that other DPS position there for Dumpster Divers. Shell Shock and Davion are going to lead the charge. Davion is the shot caller, apparently a very loud, vocal, energetic shot caller leading the charge for Dumpster Divers with Shepard and Cosmo, the newest players for the team. Shepard was an assistant coach for this team back in the day, but has now rejoined. She is picking up the mantle of the Mercy and the Lucio.
Yes. And over on Imps, we're going to have Basher and Ulti. Pardon me. It's Yoti Scaro as the DPS line. And then we're going to move on to the tank line with Senpai.
And Broccoli.
On the nose there. And Broccoli. And then back to the support and down to the support line. The backbone of most teams is going to be Relux and Ryan. So I do anticipate a couple of compositions here, but from what I am seeing from Imps, we're going to be seeing more of a brawl composition. We are going to have Dumpster Divers picking the first map. So when we get that, we can theorize a little bit better. But I think we're going to get more of a brawl from Imps. And then I really don't know what we're going to be seeing from Dumpster Divers. We may see the Ryan. I do see that they also play a little bit of Winston, but you really got to start looking out for their DPS.
Yeah, and talking with their captain, they told me they got their name because they were terrible at playing dive originally, but that was a couple years ago when they originally formed. The captain assured me that they have improved on their dives since then, so maybe we will get to see some of the Winston Diva, as we have that listed as two of their favorite and most played tanks on the team. But I want to touch back on what you were talking about a second ago about the supports, because I've heard the phrase, behind every great tank are two amazing supports, and it's so true. I mean, they're the unsung heroes of Overwatch, and they make the rest of the team look good. And it's simply one of those things where if we're not calling out the support names, that means they're doing fantastic. So it means they're not in the kill feed. They're sitting back, playing behind the scenes, and really keeping their team in the fight.
But every now and then you'll get a support just completely carry. I mean, looking a little bit higher, we have Overwatch League. You have players like Kareev, Jonak, players like that who are immaculate at support. But I think any support, as long as they are playing well, their team is always going to succeed. And me being a majority support player, it definitely doesn't. The recognition never hurts, but I always like not being criticized as well.
We try not to neglect the supports around here at ELO Hell. We like to appreciate all six players on the battlefield, but it's the tanks and the DPS in the limelight, up on the forefront of the battle. So they do get the attention a little bit more, just kind of naturally, I'm afraid.
And I may moving forward, I think we're going to be going over to Lijiang Tower for our first map.
Lijiang Tower, a classic, a staple of the control map set. And this is going to be a first to three, like you mentioned earlier. Airborne Dumpster Divers with the 4 seed. They are the higher seed. They get this pick. And they have chosen a Lijiang Tower. It's going to be loser pick from here. So, if you go down first map, have no worries. You get to choose the battleground for the subsequent map. Uh, and try to bring things back a little bit, perhaps find a map that's more favorable. But touching on Lijiang Tower, a lot of different opportunities for different compositions here. Of course, Garden's one of the most stally maps in all of Overwatch. It often turns into one long drawn out fight because of such quick access to the point. Control Center, of course, very brawl heavy. So looking at what our teams like to run, imps are hoping they get Control Center first and can make a strong statement right out of the gate.
Oh, most definitely. And I very much anticipate to see some brawl, but who knows? We may also see some sim. Saw a little bit of sim yesterday on Lijiang Tower in the one lower division than this one. So may see a little bit of Symmetra, but we may only get a little bit of, just the TP out of spawn. But Gunther seemed to enjoy the fact that, as he put it, his gorilla brain very much enjoyed the pretty lights.
Well, Sim definitely throws particle effects all over the screen. There's no doubts there. And you can use the sim strat to go through the windows and night market. That's a very common strategy to try to get first control. Similar effect on gardens where you can try to teleport across the gap and get through the window. You run the risk of not having as much damage as you might otherwise have with some more meta picks. But if you can win that first fight, then you can get bunkered in, you can get set up, and it makes life very difficult. But the trick is winning that first fight.
And I think where we're going to see, obviously the DPS can make a huge difference, but I'm also very looking forward to this. If we do get more of a brawl versus brawl, what are we going to see from the two Reinhardts? If we do get two Reinhardts, and you as a mostly Reinhardt player should enjoy that one.
Oh, I play everything. No, that's I do enjoy some main tank though, and Reinhardt is probably my best hero.
And hammer and everything.
It's the mental game. It is the hammer and everything. Yes. But it's all a mental game, right? That's one of my favorite parts about playing main tank is you really set the pace, and it's determining whether you want to play fast, whether you want to play aggressive or play counterpunch. Trying to get in the head of the opposing Reinhardt. That's what the main tank battle is all about. The mental. And typically the main tank with the strongest mental, who cannot be shook, who cannot be dissuaded in any way, they're the ones who come out on top. As we are going to head into Gardens for our first map, and I do see Symmetras on both sides with Reinhardt leading the charge for imps. Davion pulling out the Winston.
So we're going to see a Winston and a Rissa on either side as the off tank, or maybe the main tank, maybe the Reinhardt's the off tank, but I think looking at this one, obviously, we can definitely see a little bit of change right before they walk out. You can't really rely on this one too much, but it looks like we are going to get the Symmetra teleporting both teams out. So very much look forward to them meeting up on point. Looks like we're going to get the double bubble from Dumpster Divers, and we're going to get a Rein Zarya from Imp. So we're going to see this traditional brawl versus this double bubble.
Dud's just getting out of spawn with the Symmetra going over to the Tracer, while Basher went all the way through the window, allowing imps to pick up first control and daring Dumpster Divers to get close with their double bubble composition.
Ooh,
big anti in the back from Relux already. Tommy goes down. Cosmo and Shepard in trouble, as is Davion. And that is a quick and decisive first fight for the Brawl team Vimps.
That was a very quick and decisive fight. I think the McCree was able to do a lot of damage, and they really couldn't get in with the double bubble comp. And Tommy going to be swapping over to the Pharah, looking for that damage. Shepard, she's going to be switching over to the Mercy. So we're going to get a little farm Mercy. They do have to be careful for that McCree, but if they can get that consistent damage on the front line, I don't think they're going to have to worry about too much from that Reinhardt.
Tommy right now just throwing some rockets in through the window while the main tanks push in. Able to catch Ryan out of position. That's a huge play as the Bionade goes in the back. Hotel is in trouble, but gets the kill.
You got
pair
both
of kills.
of them.
Make that 3 for the McCree, and is still sitting on like 1 tick out. It's like 30 health for that McCree. Imps looking a little beaten and battered, but still standing, still in control.
Yeah, finally the McCree goes down. Davion gonna get 2. Tommy gonna get resurrected and then come back and immediately take dividends. So they look like they were losing, or Dumpster Divers did look like they were losing that fight.
I can't believe Davion was able to move in and clean up. That was great play from the front line. They were down big in that fight, and they stayed in it. They're able to find the kills. Davion recognizing the low HP targets and burn down not only the support, or not only Senpai and Utovo, but gets Basher as well. And he's now coming back with a couple ults.
And we're going to have Tommy just spamming from a distance, hopefully looking to pick someone off or get some damage. Maybe get that barrage before they even push in, just to still be careful for the McCree. He does have Deadeye, so if he catches that Fair Mercy out... Ooh, we're going to get the...
It was a big sleep to start things off. As
there it is.
Barrage comes in and finds 2 nano boost onto Davion, and that is just maximum shock value coming out from the Winston, burning down Broccoli and Basher as well.
Maximum shock value. Oh, lovely. But we're still going to have 3, almost 4, maybe 5 ultimates coming on. Basher switching off of the Symmetra. But I'm very excited to see what they're going to do with this Graviton Surge, because they can immediately end this. Whoa!
Whoa! What? Easy, Tommy! Oh, no!
Oh, no!
Tommy swimming with the fishies.
It's just a mental play. It's just trying to mental them out, man.
Graviton Surge and Banana Boost goes down into Broccoli. They're going to go for the big bomb, and that's going to find 2. Davion's able to cleave through the hapless members of Imps and take down the rest. And that's 80% on the board and counting for Dumpster Divers.
Well, before Tommy rudely interrupted me with his death, that's exactly what I was looking for, that they wanted to end the fight with. They wanted to try and stop them from pushing in with any of their ultimates. Dumpster Divers wanted to stop Imps from pushing with any of their ultimates with that Graviton Surge and that Pulse Bomb. But they are going to have the Earth Shatter coming in, so they got to be careful. That's a huge leap!
The Shatter does eventually come through. Oh, it finds Davion, but Davion was in the middle of Primal, not going to go down anytime soon. Is going to knock Senpai out mid-grav! But 3 kills come through the other side. It's a 5v3 favoring Imps on the objective right now. They will clean up, but not before Dumpster Divers hit 99%.
99%, and both teams without any ultimates. Basher the closest to an ultimate currently on the side of him, so they really did pour all of the resources into that. Cosmo going to be coming up on a nano boost, so that could come very quickly and turn around this fight. And Duds with that pulse bomb, you got to be careful about that one, because if he lands a pulse bomb on either of those supports, or even one of the 2 DPS, this could be over for Imps.
Senpai's going to swap over to the Diva. Here, just get back quick and can help with that defense matrix. Davion finds 2. Nano boosted again. Takes down the Ana and the Hanzo. Then everybody's attention turns to Broccoli. That is some burnt Broccoli right there. Gets gobbled up and taken down. Overtime Wick will burn away as Dumpster Divers cleaning up the staggered members of Imps, and will take our opening round on Gardens.
They're going to be taking the ultimate round on Garden. They kept to their strategy. They didn't switch it up too much. Tommy immediately switching over to the Fair at the beginning after the first fight, realizing that they just kind of needed a little bit of spam damage, put enough damage in there to, maybe take their pressure off of the front line, because all the draw really had to do before Tommy switched over to the Fair is they had to push into Shell Shock and make sure Davion on the Winston couldn't really do anything.
Moving into Control Center from map number 2. Could be Imps' chance to come back, as Dumpster Divers are going to match over to the Brawl composition. Big difference here. We're looking at Relux sticking with Yana, while Cosmo is going over to the Baptiste.
Baptiste can be a great hero with that Immortality Field. Looks like we're going to be getting the Symmetra on both sides, unless Tommy's going to be swapping. But we are going to get Basher on this Symmetra as well. So we're going to get 2 Symmetras in this fight with a Mei versus a Hanzo. So we're going to pay attention to both DPS, both Symmetras going down at the very beginning. But Davion is going to get a swing.
Oh, that is 4 for Davion in the middle of that. Just swing and make it 5. Claimed under Davion's hammer.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful fight. Davion able to just swing into that. Both Symmetra's going down fairly quickly, but I feel like the May wall really paid dividends for Dumpster Divers, where they were able to trap the Reinhardt, trap the rest of their team into trap imps into a corner that they couldn't get out of.
And now you can see the results of that early engagement as Davion has the Earth Shatter ready to go. Early wall up, Shatter's going to come through. Finds 2, and the odds are evened after Ultelv's opening pick. 5v5 at the choke, and imps are just going to back out and wait for their cooldowns and shields to recharge.
Yep. Eat a wall. Definitely. And they do have to be careful for the Earth Shatter on the side of imps. And his barrier is destroyed. They're just going to push in with this. Oh!
Broccoli gets taken down. Shell Shock at 100 charges, pushing through and throwing 100 charge alt fires through the Amp Matrix. That is a ton of damage, Airborne.
That is just immense amount of damage. Though they did lose Cosmos, so Cosmos going to be coming back from spawn. They got to be careful that they don't lose Shepard there. And we're going to have maybe a Dragon Strike coming from an off angle, splitting the team. Oh no. They're just going to be pushing in, but Symmetra popping that giant barrier that they can just kind of hide behind.
Yeah, Dumpster Divers wisely choose to just back up a little bit as the Dragons come out. They didn't wait for the Graviton Surge, which surprises me. In fact, it's Shell Shock throwing down that ultimate and capturing everybody in it. The Blizzard combined with it, and that's 2 kills for Dumpster Divers. That quickly doubles into 4 as the exit kills are coming through. Davion is going to hammer down Senpai with a little help from Shell Shock, and Senpai was glowing, had so much charge that has now gone to waste. One last chance for imps.
One last chance for imps, and they are going to have a Riptire. Tommy taking down Ryan. Down goes the Lucio. There goes your speed boost. Though he should be back fairly quickly. They are going to go in with this Riptire. Let's see how many they get.
Yeah, but the Riptire is going to have to be big. Nope. Cosmo takes that down with the Baptiste. Beautiful shooting. Now the Ant Matrix is there. Broccoli was out on an island, had to go in and touch just to get the overtime wake burning, but it means imps are just entering in as a scattered mass. Dumpster Divers greeting them with tons of damage, focused fire galore, and with that we'll take our opening map on Lijiang Tower and a 1-0 lead in our series.
Dumpster Diver is going to be taking the 1-0 lead, and it was a little bit more back and forth than you would have thought, especially with an 8 seed facing a 20 seed, but it seems like this is going to be a pretty good game, though Dumpster Diver seems to have taken the advantage in the first map.
Yeah, this is going to be that very opening fight. You can see the beautiful May wall there just forced imps into a terrible situation. Caught between a hammer and a hard place, and Davion cleaning up in the corner. I mean, we thought that imps might have the advantage going to a brawl-style map. Dumpster Divers showing us that their brawl is just as strong as their double bubble.
Definitely, and I'm very excited to go into this next map. We're going to be going into, looks like, Rialto. So this could be actually very good for that double bubble that Dumpster Divers was running. So I'm curious to see, maybe imps goes brawl on Rialto, and we're going to see maybe them just kind of push forward, have one person on the cart, and just be hyper aggressive the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, just touching on double bubble, it's become strong. I mean, Winston got a buff, reallocating some of that health over to armor, making them more durable. But not only that, the change to Reaper, I think, was an indirect buff to Winston as well. You can't just automatically pull out a Reaper and get up close and get easy kills. With the lower damage, you're not getting as much health back per shot, and it takes an extra pull on those Hellfire shotguns to take down a Winston at point-blank range. So Winston's kind of in a pretty good spot right now. The meta is up in flux. We've seen a lot of things, from top to bottom as far as SR is concerned. But double bubble is making its way back into fashion again.
It really is, and I've seen it in all levels, and the double bubble is definitely one of those comps that can work really, really well at any level as long as you play it very, very well. And I mean, I think that goes for any composition, but double bubble is one of these comps where you have to know what you're doing, because you can't just, I'm just going to bubble my Winston, he's going to go in and get damage. That's simplified, but you're just going to get your Winston killed.
Yeah, the timing has to be absolutely perfect. The communication has to be perfect as far as when the Winston bubble is getting used versus when the Zarya bubble is getting used. And as well as the coordination with the DPS to make sure they are maximizing. I mean, it's not. I was about to say maximizing that dive, but it's not really a dive. Double bubble tends to play with a little bit more of a brawl style, forward facing, charge forward aggression, as opposed to staging on different points of high ground and everybody converging. You're playing more in a straight line, so it requires more coordination, I'd say, than even a brawl comp. I mean, obviously, Overwatch requires quite a bit of coordination in general, but the timing is way more touchy, way more specific, and easy to punish in that double bubble composition. So I'm curious to see if that's what dumpster divers want to continue to roll out with, especially heading to Rialto with a lot of big sight lines and narrow streets to work with.
Most definitely. Looks like we're going to be seeing this map. Obviously, Imps is going to be the one choosing this map, so we may see something different from Brawl. I'm very curious to see what Imps is going to be going toward for this map.
Well, they will be starting us off on the attack. Dumpster divers, though they did not get to choose the map, they do get to choose the side and have wisely chosen to go on defense. With Rialto, one of the most defensible maps in all of Overwatch. Last I heard, it had more full holds than any other map in the game. Although, that information might be a little outdated, though. I mean, the point still holds true. Like, it's such a defensively favored map.
I would think that it definitely still probably has that. And, this is probably the map where one of my favorite games of all of time in Overwatch ended. The San Francisco Shock versus the Atlanta Reign in the semifinal of the playoffs.
Well, see, and I was thinking, was it Philly versus Paris as well? Had the big ending here where you had EQO with the big blade to help take point A. That was when Paris won Summer Showdown, if memory serves me correctly, during the Genji meta. So this has been the stage of a lot of great bouts throughout Overwatch history. And another one here today as we go into map 2. Dumpster Divers up 1-0. Can they make it 2-0? Gates are open. Let's find out.
Yep. Looking to make it 2-0 for Dumpster Divers. Maybe they can sweep this series.
Broccoli coming out on the Reinhardt. Senpai sticking with the Zarya to accompany the German Crusader. And we're going to get the Hanzo once again. The Hanzo should provide a lot of shield break as opposed to the Mei on the side of the defense. So it'll be whether they can get enough pressure down and keep their teammates together, not get caught out by those Mei walls. As I say, that Mei wall comes up, denies Broccoli's retreat, and the Immortality Field there to allow Dumpster Divers to get aggressive. Broccoli backs out, but Basher not so lucky. Broccoli eats a flashbang and is trying to find some separation. There's the Storm Arrows coming through. That extra damage from the Hanzo finally rearing its beautiful head as Broccoli is able to find both tanks on the other side, but Imps have definitely suffered some casualties along the way.
No, and it looks like Imps are going to be suffering some casualties, so this could actually hurt them going into this final fight, because Dumpster Divers has a pretty close spawn, and they are able to contest here. And if Imps gets cleared out at this point, they're going to have to worry about getting all the way back and getting through this courtyard.
Blizzard used early. If Imps can survive this, they can counterpunch back, but no, Broccoli cannot. That's a big German on ice. And now back in spawn as the Amp Matrix was used from Dumpster Divers to help put this halt on this cart.
Yep, and very much looking forward to seeing the comp, and looks like Imps are going to be coming in with a couple of ultimates into this next fight.
Yeah, they've got Earth Shatter, they've got Nano Boost and Dragons ready to go. Coming up on that Graviton Surge as well for the big Wombo combo. Dumpster Divers, they don't get that Soundbreaker online. Shepard needs to make sure he does not get caught in any of the aforementioned. And Tommy could just kill both supports with a Deadeye. Like, that'll win you a fight right there. How did that even happen? Why did you get caught out? Tommy coming through and just taking him down with ease. That was ridiculous. Tommy made that look simple.
Beautiful, beautiful play.
that like where were the supports to get caught out like that? I mean, Tommy must have come around the flank. We were watching the front line battle. Tommy must have circled around back because those supports were not sticking out front. But hey, wasting no time. Imps are coming back in here and they run right into a shatter. Davion does go down in the process, and despite it, Ryan is able to get the sound barrier out, and the Deadeye comes through. Imps eventually win the fight. I mean, I say eventually, like that actually was pretty quick. They ate a shatter, but they still get on their feet and win the fight.
They do, and I'm just very much looking forward. They're able to cap the point completely, and now they have a couple of ultimates going into this next fight where they have the Graviton Surge and the Dragon Strike that they can end this next fight and hopefully kind of skip this entire second point, because this is one of the harder points to definitely cap.
Oh, indeed. This is one of the toughest corners in the entirety of the game. There comes the Wombo combo right over the high ground, and that's going to take down both tanks. Looks like the sound barrier was invested even. The wall might have prevented their sound barrier from reaching the front line. I think Dud's wall might have been a little bit haphazard there on that one.
Just a little, but looking forward into this next fight, you do have the Graviton Surge coming out for Shell Shock, and they could really end this fight with the Shell Shock coming out with the Graviton Surge, and a pardon me. I am thinking of the name of the window.
Amplification Matrix is absolutely a great pairing with that Graviton Surge, and we're going to see that come out right now. Blizzard invested at the same time as well. But despite all the ultimates from the defense, it's trades equally on both sides, and they continue to trade. 3v3 left on the objective as Shepard is able to find the Hanzo and give the defense the +1 edge.
I'm going to give them a little bit of a +1 edge. This is definitely one of the easiest points to hold on this entire map, because you're kind of backed against the wall and you can see every single option that they can take toward you. It's really hard to flank on this point.
It is. You kind of just have to go right up the gut. There's not a whole lot of fanciness. I mean, you can send the McCree around the outside and try to open things up a little. Speaking of McCrees, Tommy's going to find the opposition Cowboy with that Deadeye. Give the player advantage to Dumpster Divers as they try to push in. Nice wall to prevent the retreat. They're going to move in. Senpai's got to be careful. Cannot find the way out when it chose incorrectly on which side of the archway to run to. It ends up falling. Duds caps it with an icicle to the dome of Relux.
What can they really do at this point except for hopefully build up all their ultimates and maybe catch out one of Dumpster Divers just kind of slipping a little bit?
Well, one thing I'm noticing is I don't feel like Relux is getting a lot of value out of the Bionade. That's a big difference between these two compositions, and one good anti can win the frontline in war form. So I'd like to see Relux try to thread the needle on some of these as the shatter comes through from the defense, and Broccoli goes down immediately. Did not read that one properly. Was swinging when they should have been shielding, and their team just gets flattened.
Oh. I think they need to back out. Maybe just... They do have 5... They're going to have 6 ultimates coming into this next fight.
Yeah, that's a full 6-pack. I mean, that also tells me that they've been a little indecisive on using them. You know, perhaps could have had a better time bank, but now they've got a full war chest. They have the pick of the litter of what they want to choose from. I'm anticipating a Grav Dragon combo to start things off. They can use that nano boost onto the Reinhardt for a little bit of extra power, and the attackers need to save that sound barrier for the incoming Graviton Surge. And indeed, is going to be the Wombo combo to start things off. Big bio over the back right there, just as I suggested. Relux hears me, lands it on both tanks, and they win the frontline war. They hold on to the nano boost, Shatter, as well as the Deadeye to help close out this fight. They still have 75 seconds on the clock.
So 75 seconds on the clock. They got to get the McCree out of there, but they got to be careful for Duds. Duds is going to have that Blizzard that could immediately stop this push in its tracks if he's able to get out of point or get out of spawn.
Blizzard is out right over the objective. Broccoli just narrowly makes it out of there. Gets the nano boost, throws down the Shatter, takes down the healer on the other side, excuse me, gets taken down by Duds on the other side. But Dumpster Divers, they end up getting taken down. Basher whittled him down with the Peacekeeper.
Tommy
answers back, lands a headshot of their own with that 6-shooter. And, I mean, that was an absolute just bloodbath on the back of the point here.
And I think that's just a beautiful, beautiful shot looking at that. And now we're going to be, Shellshock's going to be switching off of this ball. They got one last fight. Imps having no ultimates coming into this one. With Tommy with that Deadeye, so they got to be very, very careful about that. And it looks like he's just waiting.
The Cosmo's going to have that Amp Matrix as well. Imps definitely need to be very careful. Going to have to play their LOS just right. Tommy into the back with the Deadeye. No! Utelv is all over it. Here comes the shatter from the front, though. Both tanks go down. That is 3 kills on the board for the defense. Cosmo's able to find one as well. Utelv trying to hold on. It's a Hanzo and an Ana in a dream. And their dreams get shattered, turning to nightmares as the overtime wick burns down. 84.37 meters is all imps are going to find on map 2.
And now we have a win condition for dumpster divers, but that's also a win condition for imps as well. They can't let them, in my opinion, they cannot let them cap all the way to second point. They need to try and stop them at second point.
I mean, at the very least, force it into overtime. If you can get them into overtime by the time they cap point B, they'll have 90 seconds, one, maybe 2 attacks to get it to the cathedral. But ideally, sure. I mean, imps put up a big first point hold, or eat as much time as you can off of each point. Make dumpster divers work for every inch. And to that vein, imps are sticking with the same composition, the McCree Hanzo for Basher and Ultave.
Yeah, and maybe they even just kind of sit there and go, maybe we hold up at spawn. Would that be something that you would think if you were them?
I don't know. I mean, Utelv is gonna want to work at a distance. Basher kind of wants to play at medium range. I think that's a tough call. I think if you're wanting to hold up at spawn, you'd have your DPS on a little bit, on like May Reaper or something that's made to fight point blank. With this current composition, I think imps are gonna do good to sit where they are across the bridge and put that poke damage down. Try to break the shield to dumpster divers on the approach.
Is exactly what they need to do. They really need to put some pressure on that shield, and they do have a comp to do it. They do have that Hanzo and McCree able to put some shield pressure on them, and they do have the distance on Duds as well. They cannot let Duds get up close and personal.
Yeah, it's gonna be Duds picking up those Hellfire shotguns.
I'd love a round of those.
Indeed. Cosmo finds first blood as Broccoli goes down.
But
Duds is gonna fall as well as Davian. As the attackers get a little big for their britches, pushing into courtyard. Shellshock does strike back and is able to take Relux out of the fight. And it's a 3v3 left, but nice headshot from Utel. Put Shellshock back in their place.
Utel getting, I think, what was it, 4 kills near the end?
Yeah, Utel popped off.
Utel did pop off, and I think that's exactly what he needs to do. Keep Duds away from him. Keep Duds away from his team. Broccoli needs to be careful about getting picked off a little bit early there. His shield got broken. He just got rushed down, but thankfully, he's able to get Cosmo!
All right, I think Cosmo took the corner, ate an arrow and a fire strike simultaneously, and that is a quick reset for dumpster divers.
That's unfortunate. That's what that is.
Well, imps coming up on the on the dragons, but the Graviton Surge still 50% away. They've got a nano boost they can throw up onto Broccoli to help hold that front line. But Cosmo's gonna drop the Amp Matrix, and the double damage fire strike picks up 2 immediately. Imps caught completely unaware, just did not look prepared for that at all. And blink and you miss it, half their squad is gone.
I mean, that's just what Amplification Matrix to do, and that's why you got to be careful when they do have a Baptiste Cosmo. She was able to build up the Amplification Matrix pretty quickly. Ryan gonna get taken out before he can really stop that point, really stop the car from going anywhere. But they really do have to be careful. Cosmo, she's building up these Amplification Matrix pretty quickly, and she's building up them pretty quickly. And now Shellshock coming in with the Graviton Surge. I don't really know what we can combo it with. Maybe we can combo it with a Deadeye.
Oh, I mean, if they can just wait for that Death Blossom. I mean, that's a pretty mean one. A lot of damage to pour down into a Graviton.
Most definitely, but we do have 5, nearly 6 ultimates on the side of imps. Shadow's gonna get thrown out and catch nobody.
Yep. Davian able to block that one with a nice flash of the shield. These dumpster divers are looking to push out and control the stairwell, at least force imps off of it. As their shatter also gets blocked. We're going to get the Deadeye coming out from the defense. That's going to pick up one. Utelv is going to pick up one as well, and imps will thwart this first attack on point B.
Tell us an ultimate's on his own.
The shell shock goes down, losing all of that charge. That's one thing. With the Zarya, you got to play a little more greedy than that. That charge is so precious. That's your lifeblood as a Zarya. Shell shock needed to get the heck out of there.
Like, you see your team, half of your team is dead? Bye.
I mean, go high. Something. Like, you've got to guard that charge with your life, literally.
We do got to be careful. Cosmo is going to be coming up on another amplification matrix, and we do have a Death Blossom, and Tommy has a Deadeye coming into this next fight, but you do have to be careful for that grab dragon. Imps can just end the fight immediately with that combo.
Dumpster divers having a little bit of powwow, a little pet talk as they move in. The time for talk is gone. The time for action is nay. Graviton Surge, dragons are out, but the immortality field is there. No casualties from dumpster divers as they continue to press the issue. They decided the high ground's not the way to go. They're going to drop down, fight around the lower corner. Go back and grab the cart. Cart's important. Don't want to forget that cart. They still have those DBS ults to work with. Sound Barrier was used to keep him alive for that big one-ball combo as Duds is able to pick up one. Basher overextends a bit and finds himself on the business end of a pair of shotguns. Now the cart rolls around this corner as the Ant Matrix phase. Davion moving up the front. Duds finds yet another kill. Still holding on to this ultimate. Looking for a right place to press Q to start spinning. I think the Tornado Watch is out. Where the warning sirens go off. Doesn't look like they're even going to need him on this point.
Nope.
Without that ultimate, they're able to win this in the mid-fight and take point B.
They're going to be able to take point B, and now here's where the issues are probably going to begin for imps. They have Earth Shatter and Nano Boost, but they still have to worry about that Death Blossom and a Graviton Surge. So neither of those ultimates were used, and Dumpster Divers is really at the same kind of ult percentage that imps is, so imps can pop up on their ultimates a little bit faster. Right now, imps has to be very careful and not let anyone fall right now. Oh, Night Shatter!
Surge and Death Blossom comes out, finds both supports. The Nano was able to keep Broccoli alive temporarily, but only such. With the healers gone, the rest are easy pickings. Dumpster divers don't even have to push all the way in. They just got to push a little bit up that ramp as the stall picks come through. Senpai over to the ball. Basher onto the Tracer. Dragons out from Utah was able to find one. And every kill for the defense super important now. The front line runs into a shatter, and that's going to net them a pair of kills. And the map. Dumpster Divers take Rialto and a 2-0 lead. They are now on series point here in our first of 3 series.
They're going to be on series point, and they looked pretty dominant, but imps was able to put up a pretty good fight on this one, but I feel like they really, really need to kind of like get their ultimate combos ready. They do have the skill to be able to do it. It's just anytime those combos come up, they're not really able to follow up on these combos, especially that grab dragons.
That should have been something that maybe pushing into them and getting out that immortality field, or maybe throwing in another ultimate to get that immortality field out or that beat drop out, so they can actually follow up on those kills. Because by the time that by the time the sound barrier and by the time that immortality field wore off, all of them were completely on.
Pardon me. They were completely on full health still, so it just restarted the fight, and they had just wasted those ultimates.
Yeah, Cosmo was able to G-value multiple ultimates with that immortality field on that one. Well, Dumpster Divers are looking to close us out, looking to move to top 8. Can they complete the clean sweep? We're going to return with Hybrid and find out. We'll see you on the other side of this break. Dumpster Divers up 2-0 at the half after pretty clean victories. 2-0 on Li Zhang, then a 3-2 victory on Rialto. They're looking to close it out here in our single elim qualifier round of Get Good Limited. Make it a top 8. Get into that double elim bracket. Well, they'll have a safety net. But for right now, neither team has such. And, well, imps are fighting for their tournament lives. They're going to have to win 3 in a row if they want to move on.
Yes, and going into these last two maps, going over these last two maps, we've seen a lot of brawl from both teams. We did see a little bit of double bubble at the beginning of Lee Shang Tower, but I feel like the brawl trend is going to continue. Pardon me, from here on out, and looking forward, we're going to be getting it is a hybrid map next. So I'm definitely looking forward to maybe seeing some brawl.
Yep, it's imps maps pick. So they have chosen King's Row to set the stage for map number 3. No big surprise. One of the most common and favorite maps in all of Overwatch. One, both of our teams are definitely familiar with, have played plenty of. So it's, there's no strat that you're really unprepared for. You've kind of seen it all at this point. It's just a matter of execution. Exactly. I'd be surprised if we get something completely out of left field. I'm expecting some tried and true Overwatch here. This is going to be about focus fire, cooldown usage, and who can manage their ultimates the best.
I think this is going to be definitely one of those times where Dumpster Divers is going to be bringing back that Mei, at least on first point, either on the offense or the defense, probably the defense, so they can kind of cut off that choke point and make sure that they can, get early picks every single time.
The Mei is certainly a super strong here. You've got the narrow chokes to work with. If you can wall them off, there's no way to retreat. There's no way to get the healing through. Certainly, with imps have been favoring that Ana. And once an Ana is cut off from the rest of the team, it's so tough to find any value. I mean, you're just kind of at the mercy of the Mei wall. You don't do enough damage to really break one down. Your front line's typically focused forward, so you don't have any help in trying to bust down that Mei wall. And it's the perfect opportunity for the opposition to get those early all-important picks.
Yes, and definitely if you're a Reinhardt, you got to be very, very aware of that. As you said, it's really a mental. Like Reinhardt is definitely one of those heroes where you got to be super careful about getting cut off from your team. You have to be so mentally aware of the map around you. Like if somebody calls out a Mei, you have to be one of the first people to say, "Okay, we have to push it together."
I mean, your two options are all move in as one, or kind of do the put a toe in and back out, try to bait the wall, hope you end up on the right side of it. And then once you know the wall's on cooldown, that's your window of opportunity to move in. And playing against the Mei, this is one of the areas where the BAP comes in really handy, because once the Mei wall comes up, a BAP has those jump boots. You can simply jump on top of the Mei wall, throw down your IF, get that immortality field down to keep people alive until you can regroup a little bit, or just throw down the burst healing from above. So it's one area, especially if we go Mei to Mei and Dumpster Divers stick with the BAP, with imps sticking with Yana, I think the BAP will have the advantage.
We could see like a Houston Outlaws Symmetra strat that we saw earlier on in the Overwatch season, where they kind of used the Mei and the Symmetra to get a high ground.
Oh yeah, that's always a favorite. Always a favorite. You can get creative with the Mei walls in the Symmetra strat. The only fallacy to that is you don't have a whole lot of raw damage.
Yeah.
I mean, once you get the sim charged up and you get set and you get turrets up, sure, then you're putting out decent damage. Right. But until that happens, and that takes a little bit of time to set up, until that happens, your raw damage output is pretty minimal. I mean, unless your Mei can just click heads with the icicles, and that is much harder to do than it is with, a McCree or, a Hanzo or an Ashe or something like that.
And maybe we do get a Pharah on the side of Dumpster Divers as well, because we did see a Pharah from Dumpster Divers. So I maybe also expect to see that on attack, maybe for a quick attack, and then swap off of the Pharah to maybe more of a McCree type, maybe more of a Cree, maybe a Reaper.
It does work well, particularly on point A attack, just to kind of corral the defense in behind Hotel, and then you can kind of put them into a vulnerable position. So, I mean, the Pharah, not out of question, as Dumpster Divers are going to start us off on the defense. They are indeed bringing the Baptiste. Cosmo sticking with that one. And Duds on the Mei.
So this is exactly what we're going to expect. We're probably going to expect. We're going to expect them to wait until Broccoli comes out. Texas, steps his toe out a little too far and just gets cut off from the rest of his team and stops Ryan from really healing, or Senpai from really seeing him to get that bubble on him. But they do have to be careful because Basher is going to be coming in with that Reaper, so they can't really let imps get too close. Basher going down pretty quickly, though, almost.
Yeah, speaking of eating a killer icicle, Basher was down to about 30 health. So far, imps have managed to not get walled off. We're watching Broccoli to see how they play around this May wall. Bubble used early, and the shield is at sub 100. Broccoli does manage to stay on the safe side of the wall, but there's no shield and no bubbles. Relux stays outside of the hotel a little too long, eats a fire strike. Now there's no speed for imps to push on at this point, and they're caught inside the hotel.
And they're going to be trapped in this hotel.
Oh, they are totally trapped.
Both sides are going to be just eating so much damage. But here comes the nano boost. Broccoli's going to be pushing out, just getting everyone away from his team.
But the Maywall used this time defensively to try to deny value from that. Davian does get caught out. The Shatter was used, didn't really catch anything. Cosmo's going to try to clutch this out with the Amp Matrix on the high ground. Tommy finds a pair, make that 3 for the Cowboy, down low. And despite Davian being out of the fight, Tommy finds a quad.
There's the McCree that you were talking about, that high damage that they're able to do. And right now, Basher and Ultiv need to really, needs to come out and maybe do kind of the same thing that Tommy was doing. Basher needs to kind of work on that Reinhardt shield, Davion going down, but they weren't able to push in because the team seemed to have scattered when Davion went down. So it doesn't seem like they were able to pick a target.
Oh, we're going to get the Blizzard combined with the Graviton Surge, and everybody's in tight, frozen solid. Easy pickings for Dumpster Divers defense. There's a bit of alliteration for you, and a bit of a reset for Mips.
Bit of a reset, and now imps.
Bit of a reset. That's the nice way of putting it.
A little bit. No. They are going to have a Graviton Surge, but they're not really going to be Graviton Surge and as well as the beat drop. But again, they have to deal with an Earth Shatter for the side of Dumpster Divers.
We'll see if they can work this one through. Sound barrier online for both teams as the Graviton Surge comes out. Shepard just now getting out of the line. She's able to get that sound barrier down, keep the team alive.
Oh,
Tommy has looped through Hotel onto the flank angle. Going down yet another dead eye. Finds one with that, but we're finally getting burned down by Senpai, but I think the work had been done. While the rest of the team's focus was turned to deal with the flanker, Davion pushes in and batters down Broccoli on the main tank.
Run away. Run! This is so unfortunate. And now again, Davion having that Earth Shatter, Cosmo having that amplification matrix, which could just stop any hard push in its tracks.
Yeah, imps do have a sound barrier to try to push in with. And there's not one on the other side. That could be just enough to give them the balance here, to tilt the balance, should I say. We'll see where they choose to use it. Ryan goes down early. There's a quick speed boost through the back, enables that positioning. The Death Blossom is out and did quite a bit of damage. Basher sacrificing their life for point A, and it looks like a worthy sacrifice that will not go in vain.
Will not go in vain, and now they're going to have both support ultimates. Ryan and Relux having 2 ultimates in that amplification matrix as I spoke about. So we make a dueling amplification matrix down this streets phase, and Utel is just going down, maybe trying to look for a flank, maybe trying to look for someone to pick, but it kind of looks like he just goes back with his team to take this fight head on.
I admire the discipline from Relux during that fight, not using that sound barrier. Now they've got it to counter the Graviton Surge coming in from the other side, which I'm sure will get coupled with this Blizzard. Surge is out. Maywall up from Basher, delayed the Blizzard a bit, but it does eventually come through. Broccoli frozen solid, and the sound barrier is not enough to keep them alive. Senpai falls as well, and Dumpster Divers will hold this point A archway.
Yeah, but he decided to get a little bit too aggressive, and I don't know if Duds was waiting for necessity or waiting because, he couldn't see the wall. Ryan taking down Cosmo, who was chasing a little bit, but I feel like Imps got a little bit too aggressive and kind of ran directly into that Blizzard, and it cost him that fight. But now Dumpster Diver has to back up only without Cosmo. Cosmo's going to be on that long spawn, so they're going to have to give up a little bit of the streets phase due to Cosmo's a little bit over.
Yeah, that was a fun little duel to see. Just Baptiste v. Baptiste, mano y mano. But a foolhardy play from Cosmo is going to cost Dumpster Divers a lot of space.
Yeah, completely losing that much space on the streets phase, though. This is a pretty easy quarter to hold. They just got to be careful for those flanks. Here comes the May wall, and we're about to see the Graviton Surge. Oh, Tommy!
That's going to take down Ryan, who threw the ammo out, but did not get in their own immortality field. Tommy's going to follow up with another kill, make that 2 additional kills before finally getting dealt with by Utel. But with half the team falling under Tommy's Peacekeeper, Dumpster Divers are able to hold.
You got to pay attention where Tommy is, honestly, at this point.
And that's one of the detriments of running the Zarya is you don't have that diva to work as a flank check to get up in the face of an off-angled McCree and get that defense matrix and check the high ground. Instead, you're putting all your eggs in the basket of running the front line. Whoa, that's a huge shatter! That is a massive, monstrous, fatty shatty. And Cosmo is able to find 2 kills on the back of it, despite the amp matrix from the other side. And with 40 seconds on the clock, Dumpster Divers win yet another team fight.
With only 1 ultimate.
It was 2, but yeah. They threw their own amp matrix as well into that.
Oh, did they? Yeah. I didn't see that. I only saw the red amp matrix, but all I saw was everyone laying down in front of the amp matrix. But we're gonna have 4 ultimates for imps, and look, Utelv is gonna be going around the back, so we're gonna see if he can pull a Tommy move and get multiple with this Deadeye.
He does find 2, indeed, and that's just the ticket for imps to win this fight. It was looking a little bit dire. They survived the original Graviton Surge with a nice wall. They lose a couple to the subsequent Blizzard, but that flank from Utelv buys them the time they need to perhaps get this cart into point B.
Let's see if Dumpster Divers can get back onto this point before it really caps, and they're not going to be able to get there in time because of that. Maywell, and they did a lot of damage to Shepard before she could get to point, but now they're going to be backing off again. This is what we were talking about in Rialto. This is a very, very easy point, a lot easier for the defenders to hold.
Especially with only 90 seconds on the clock that Dumpster Divers have to hold for. That is gone to 70.
Tommy has his ultimate, so they do have to be careful for that Deadeye. I don't think they're not going to be worried about Tommy getting behind them, but they do have to worry about that Deadeye, and it's going to get reloads.
Once again, Tommy finding value with this McCree ult. Now Shellshock pushing forward to try to chase the kills out. Davion going up to the high ground. Oh, okay. I was like, Davion, are you trying to pull some cloudy maneuvers here? Is that what's about to happen? No. Thinks better of it. Davion's going to fall back, play it a little safe as Broccoli is approaching with a shatter of their own.
Gonna see dueling shatters. Let's see who can hit it first, but you're gonna get that amplification matrix. This is just unfortunate that Maywall popping up at the perfect time. Weren't able to capitalize on it, but that shatter is.
Oh, that's a 4-man into. Oh wow, Senpai somehow keeps their toes on dry ground, but they still end up back in spawn all the same. I mean, just look at Shellshock right now. Like, I don't even see a Zarya. It's just a glowing blue ball of light and a giant beam of damage emerging from them.
Who doesn't love the 100 charge Zarya? It's always terrifying.
The Blizzard's going to deny imps from even getting close. The clock's going to dwindle down. Senpai on the ball, I believe, gets the touch in as the Blizzard comes in from the other side. That's going to find 1. Senpai's stall might have been just enough. Broccoli's able to get the better end of Davion. Another Graviton Surge in from the defense, but no kills there. Relux coming up on a sound barrier. Might be just the thing to push this over the edge as imps are able to win this final desperate team fight. They're not quite at a full 6. They're only at a 5-man as they're pushing around this final corner.
Around Ulta, they got to be careful for Utel. He does have that Deadeye, but we do have an amplification matrix from Cosmo. That could end this fight pretty quickly. They got to push past that amplification matrix to make sure that they don't get caught out with that.
It's too far forward. They're not able to utilize it. Utel's going to throw the Deadeye in the back. Relux does use that sound barrier. Cosmo's amp matrix runs down. Tommy falls. Davion falls. Does tries to switch to a Widowmaker. No luck there. Shellshock finally battered down. And imps.
Being able to catch.
Oh my goodness. They're able to push this thing in. It was very desperate with 2 great team fights while the overtime wick is burning. Imps find 3 points on the board.
That's exactly what they needed to do, and now they have a little bit of a failsafe. As long as they can get Dumpster Divers to under 1 minute, they have a chance to win this game. But if they can hold Dumpster Divers at all throughout this entire map, they take their first map and start the reverse sweep.
Not an easy task in Kings Row. We're talking about Rialto being very defensively favored. Kings Row, not so much. You've seen some monstrous times on Kings Row, and it's one of those where if you get a good time on point A, you can push up and catch the split spawns on point B and pretty much claim all of point B and narrow it down to 1, possibly 2 team fights. This map is very, very steamroll capable. Yeah, that's the phrase I'm going with. That's my best phrase I've come up with steamroll capable. That's what.
It's
That's
very steamrolly.
That's steamrolly. It's a steamrolly-poly kind of map.
I was literally about to say that.
Imps coming out on the defense with some right. Sorry. You
I think we're going to get more of the traditional May wall that we were looking for from Dumpster Divers, but it seems to have worked well for Dumpster Divers, but we're going to see duds still on the May and Tommy popping that sonar arrow to see if there's anyone up there. No one.
If they stick. Okay, yeah, they're going to go ahead and go over to the McCree after the check just to make sure the flank is clean. As we're going to get the mirror matchup, it's actually Cosmo going to the Ana this time with Ryan on the back.
There's the May wall.
Yeah, and Davion's in a really bad position. Somehow just swinging around with that shield and manages to stay alive is frozen. So little health will eventually get deleted. Senpai finally finds that kill. And that's going to force Dumpster Divers to fall back and regroup.
Fall! But they do have to be careful. They know that the May wall is there, so they're probably going to play there a little bit safer, but Broccoli already having his Earth Shatter online.
Yeah, that was nutty fast. But, I mean, beat their supports. I mean, like, that's how fast that came online. Circling around statue, Dumpster Divers pushing in. Bionade used to keep the team alive a little bit early. I'd like to have seen that Bionade go into the back more. Oh, what a sweep. Almost interrupted the shatter, but did deny the follow. Nevertheless, there's that anti that I was talking about, right into the Earth Shatter. 3 kills under Davion's. Make that 4 for Davion. As Dumpster Divers push in, they'll have a healthy time bank to work with on point B.
Big German with the big hammer, swinging around all of his way, getting 4, and they're going to be able to move on. Even with Imp's ultimate advantage, they weren't able to stop Dumpster Divers. Perfect rotation and Cosmo's beautiful sleep dart.
Yeah, that sleep dart was clutch. Absolutely saved that for him.
But
now,
again,
Dumpster Divers do choose a little bit more conservative approach on point B. They don't try to push up as far as we thought they might. Tommy's dead. I'm not going to quite find anything, and Dumpster Divers are just going to throw that quick jab and then fall back around the corner.
Yeah, they're just looking to see if they could get a pick to push forward, forcing Imps to move back. And now Imps is going to be coming in with a Graviton Surge, and we're going to see, a freeze coming out from both sides.
Yeah, that's a lot of snow on Kings Row. It got real cold, but Davion brought their parka. They're able to thaw out and batter down Broccoli. Utel falls as well. So Dumpster Divers do emerge out of the ice and find a pair of kills. And now they are getting aggressive. Now they're pushing forward, and they're going to hold all the way up at the point B arch.
No, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, and Basher's able to ice block, but they're not going to last long. Nope, Davion sends them right back to spawn.
Oh, and Relix falling down the hole as well. They're going to do a full reset, so they may not be able to even contest this streets phase. That's going to be 3 minutes and 40 seconds maybe.
Yeah, you had $130 of that, and you're looking at a 5-minute time bank to push into point C. Oh, the contest is just a moment too late, like a millisecond too late. Broccoli made a big gamble there to push forward, and it did not pay off. Instead of getting a contest, they find nothing but heartbreak.
They found nothing but heartbreak, and now they got to break off, and they're going to be losing a lot of this 3rd point. And now they got to play very, very carefully, only with a Graviton Surge coming up maybe on a Shatter, but they do have to worry about potentially 5 ultimates for Dumpster Divers.
And that was a gamble I guess you had to make. You had to try. Because, I mean, if Dumpster Divers push this in with more than a minute, then Imps aren't even going to get a chance to attack. Now, they've got a big amount ahead of them, and they're going to try to use a Graviton Surge to open things up. The Maywall, I mean, it elevated their own team. I'm not quite sure what that was trying to do. Both Shatters get blocked. The the Nano Boost onto the Reinhardts. They push forward into the frozen Imps, and there's nothing they can do but just stand and watch the death and destruction kill feed lighten up for Dumpster Divers as they're going to push this cart home. They will have 4 minutes on the clock to capture 33%, close out this series in a clean 3-0, and send themselves into top 8.
That's just, whew. They just, as you said, what was it? Steamrolly polioli?
Steamrolly poly, indeed. let's just forget I ever said that. We can go with steamrollable. I just came up with that myself. That's a suggestion that just magically popped into my head from the heavens. the gods
do with the voices in our heads.
Yeah, I think the gods are threatening to strike me down as we speak. Oh, imps go on the defense and try to put up this impossible hold. See if they can hang on and take us to map 4.
Oh, and dumpster divers may just for their namesake come out with the dumpster dive.
Well, they did admit that they were terrible at dive when I was speaking with them earlier, but that was back when the team was founded almost 2 years ago. And like I said, I had assurances that they've improved on it, so we'll see if they choose to stick with it. On the defense, no changes. And Ryan going back over to that Baptiste.
I think they just need to play a little bit smarter and try not to overextend. Don't chase for those ultimates. Wait for them to come to you.
Duds on the Widowmaker.
Whoa.
Looking for an early pick. He's going to make him think twice about this aggressive hold, that's for sure. At the very least, you've got to respect that sight line.
Nothing is more terrifying than seeing that bullet just trace past your head.
Yeah, the sound of that bullet whizzing just by your ear, and you know you just were an inch away from death and possibly losing that fight for your team. Tommy on the Genji. I mean, this is a strange composition. Duds have gone over to the Sombra. I mean, it's like a ball version of Double Bubble, like...
Double Ball? I don't know.
It's like Blackout Brawl with a Genji and a ball instead of a Winston and a Reaper. It's a very interesting composition, and so far it's not working very well.
No, not very well, and I think this is kind of the worst comp to maybe try a weird variation with. You know, his imps is looks pretty practiced on that. Just a few mistakes kind of cost him in the last map, but I think at this point, if you're going to be trying some weird variation of a comp, I think you should definitely. I mean, we kind of know what they're going for. They're going for the Nano Blade.
Yeah, EMP Nano Blade. Yeah, I mean they're not really looking to win the mid fight as far as I can tell. I mean, of course, you're always playing for ultimates, but dumpster divers feel like they're putting all their eggs into that basket with this composition. So imps need to shut it down before it can begin, and all imps have to do is survive those combos, and a lot of that's going to go on the shoulders of Relux and the sound barrier coming up. And Matrix out early from the defense, already a minute and a half eaten off the clock. Tommy does have the blade ready to go. EMP still 15% away.
They do have the nano boost and the blade. Now they're just waiting on that EMP Graviton Surge. Like, they have all the ultimates ready soon. So imps have to be very careful. Be careful not to group up too much, and they need to have Relux ready with that sound barrier. Oh, that's a sleeping Kree.
And now dumpster divers have kind of crossed the point of no return. Since we're sub 2 minutes, they don't have the opportunity to really build up ults on a different composition. This needs to work. Graviton Surge out early. Here comes the EMP. Over the top, that's going to find 2. Relux gets the sound barrier out. The Nano Blade finds 1, but Duds goes down. Tommy goes down. Imps have survived the onslaught of ultimates, and they're finding the kills. They're going to throw down a late shatter to close it out. Broccoli, I might have held that one for the next fight. You had already won.
Just that may be a mistake that haunts them, but they do have the Graviton Surge, and as you said, no ultimates can really be built up in about 2 minutes, unless Davion could like miraculously build up this swing to win mentality and get that Earth Shatter very quickly. They only have a beat drop going into this one.
Yeah, the swaps do come through as they go back to the May McCree.
Now
it's up to a mid-fight pick from dumpster divers. Sub 60 seconds, as you just heard Athena say. They're going to push in.
Seconds remaining.
Wall not finding its mark. The defensive wall from imps is there. The Amp Matrix is out. Fire Strike coming through. And Senpai has a Graviton Surge ready to go. Now the sound barrier is there, but it's too early. Senpai can now throw a free grav down. They are divided up a little bit by the wall, but the kill's still coming through for imps on this defense. 35 seconds on the clock, and imps win another team fight.
30 seconds left. Cosmo on that coalescence, but they gotta be quick to come back. They gotta be careful because they have imps has 3-4 ultimates coming in with a sound barrier of their own coming up. But we know what May's waiting for.
Dumpster divers have found themselves on the short end of the stick. Yeah, they do have a Graviton Surge and a Coalescence at the ready. Will that be enough to overcome the 4 ults that you just mentioned? Coalescence out early as Utah is going to throw the Deadeye in. Or excuse me, that's Tommy's Deadeye. Well, they both threw Deadeyes. They both find a kill. Blizzard now out from Imps as they look to hold on. Gravitar Surge out from the attacking team, but Davian goes down. Shell Shock goes down. Imps might have done the impossible. They've put up the 4-minute full hold. They will find themselves in draw into right now, right then. That is a victory for Imps. They still have a 0 in the map score, but they live to fight another map.
They live to fight another map, and we're going to head straight over to the fun of Assault.
Whew. That was Dumpster Divers tried to get a little weird and throw an unusual ult-heavy
Maybe a little bit
composition. I mean, it came around and bit him right in the backside. I mean, once Imps survived the EMP Graviton Surge Nano Blade fight, I mean, that was a lot of very deadly fight-winning ults coming their way. They're able to weather the storm. Riot's able to get the sound barrier out. And that was it. Like it was an uphill battle for Dumpster Divers from there. Imps looked like they were in control from that point on. What an impossible hold. What a big confidence boost for Imps as we head into map 4.
That's a huge confidence booster for them, and I wouldn't blame them for maybe wanting to take this next map and going, we can win. We can definitely beat this team, especially if they start getting a little bit overconfident like that. And they were able to take down their brawl composition that they probably thought was going to be able to go in and just kind of steamroll them. So Dumpster Divers has to be careful of that. They need one more win, but anything can happen in a game of Overwatch.
I mean, they were already too far behind in the ult economy. I mean, then you were going into a brawl revolve mirror, but one team has a bunch of check marks and Dumpster Divers had none. You know, that their cabinet was empty, and it was a clear advantage for Imps, and they took full advantage of that. And not only do they have the wind at their sails, but they have the map pick to boot. This could be a real momentum shift in this series.
And then now we're going to be going to everyone's favorite map type, Assault.
Yeah, Imps have chosen Temple of Anubis. We're headed to Egypt. It's going to get dry. It's going to get sunny as we get to arid Anubis. Funny enough, Dumpster Divers. So we ask our teams what's their favorite map, from each type. And under Assault, Dumpster Divers just put no.
I mean, it's their favorite map type. They can't choose a map.
I don't think that's quite what they meant. Well, they'll be happy once Overwatch 2 comes out, as it sounds like we're not going to have Assault once that happens down the road. But we're living in the present. We're living in the here and now, and Imps are looking to finally get that goose egg out of the map score heading into map number 4.
That's exactly what they're looking to do, and obviously getting this match pick. Imagine they're getting this map pick. They're going to be able to hopefully hold with the composition that they've kind of seen started working, and we're probably. No, I wouldn't be surprised on Temple of Anubis if we get a little bit of the spam damage, maybe a Junkrat, maybe a Pharaoh. That's definitely something I could see coming in from both sides.
Oh, Junkrat is so strong on point A and Anubis, really on both points, because you just have such small chokes to work with, and I mean, relatively few options on where to go. You have to push through the double arches to get in. And I mean, we've seen the trap mine combo time and time again. You've seen it in your ranked games. We've seen it in tournament play. And you can shut down an attack with just a well-placed trap mine combo.
That's definitely, Junkrat can do so much, especially if you're going to be grouped up against a brawl composition, as a brawl composition, I do apologize. And if you kind of push in a little bit too hard as a brawl composition, don't kind of pay attention to what the enemy team is running, that Junkrat could catch you out every single time because there are so many places he can hide in that first choke. And he literally just needs just one shot and a mine, and your backline is gone.
Although a good Zarya on the other side can utilize that to just be at a quick 80 charge in 2 bubbles. So that would be the counterpoint to the Junkrat, would be good Zarya play. And we've definitely seen some good Zarya play from both sides already. But Shell Shock just seems to be just glowing all of the time.
Of course. You got to be a Christmas light.
Yep.
Got to be a Christmas
just bright and glowing, visible from space.
I wouldn't say
and it's 190 DPS at full charge. Like there's just a boatload of damage coming out of Zarya.
Imagine buffing that damage, Jesus. Nano boost.
Well, it's going to be a Dumpster Diver starting us off on the defense as we head into Anubis. They are sticking with the Ryan Zarya and the May McCree.
Ryan Zarya, McCree, and definitely probably going to use that wall. Maybe they're going to go up and maybe fight them at the point, or they're just going to try and get them, catch them either going left side over the point or trying to get them going through the bridge under the high ground and catching them there as well. There's plenty of places to try and catch somebody in this point, even with the May. But I'm surprised that nobody may be playing a little bit more spammy of a hero.
I mean, the May works for similar reasons. Tight chokes to work with. You can use the divide and conquer. And, I mean, now it's become a battle of the May walls. You can use your own May wall to protect your entrance, to protect your ingress through those chokes, as we're going to get mirror compositions. May wall out from the defense first, but imps just run right past it, directly onto the objective, using their immortality field to protect the way in. But their shields are broken, their main tank's down, Basher goes down as well, and it's a quick fight win as Dumpster Divers read this like a book, and they're able to pressure out. I mean, once all the cooldowns were used, imps found themselves on point with no way to fend off the onslaught.
That's exactly what it is. And tried to stagger the D.Va right into that room, but she is going to be getting staggered.
Hold on.
That's unfortunate.
Oh, finally put out of their misery with a mercy kill from Duds and a swift punch from the May.
And I think it's at this point, if you're going to be running this brawl composition, I think they definitely may want to stick off the D.Va, but I can understand why they would be wanting to run the D.Va, maybe for that damage mitigation for that Reinhardt. But I think if you're going to be brawling on point, I think Zarya is the best option.
They're going to push the same plan. Back in low. Ryan is going to sit back as Deadeye is able to pick up one. Ant Matrix out from the defense. Just a shooting gallery for Tommy. Double damage with a Peacekeeper. Tommy just finding pick after pick with the 6-shooter.
Gonna get that Deadeye, and now Dub's going to be having that Blizzard, where we're not even having any ultimates except for Ryan's used amplification matrix on the side of imps. Nothing else really popping up for them because they're losing these fights in such quick succession.
Yeah, Blizzard Shatter, Graviton Surge.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Line. Nice defensive wall from Basher, though, will prevent any casualties while they're trying to move into that front choke. Imps do manage to make it into the mega room, and they do have that pack to work with. They need to
have a bubble.
Yeah, that's true. They really don't. And now all of the aforementioned ults are available. And the shatter comes through from Broccoli, but it finds not just a shield, but a bubble as well. Blizzard does get eaten up. Yeah, Senpai finding some value with the defense matrix, but Broccoli goes down, and Dumpster Divers are able to push in and clean out that mega room.
And now imps are coming up on a couple of ultimates, but look at Dumpster Divers. They have 4 of their own to counter that.
Yeah, they used only the Blizzard to win that fight, and now Imp's time bank has been whittled down to $1.15.
You think they're taking it a little bit seriously?
Dumpster Divers are definitely taking this fight a lot more seriously than they did their King's Row attack in extra innings, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
2 support ults, 2 tank ults ready to go for the defense. How are we going to path in, man? That's going to be the Graviton Surge coming out. That one does not get eaten. Coupled with the Deadeye finds 3 if you include the DMAT. Cosmo's able to find one of their own. And that nice combo, Graviton Surge, Amp Matrix, and Deadeye swiftly win the fight. 40 seconds left on the clock.
Ultimates coming out, the imps are not really able to do much because these ultimates are coming out so quickly from Dumpster Divers, and they're not giving them a chance. They're not giving imps a chance to use their ultimates at all.
Well, that and Relux keeps dying, I think, a little too early in the fight, or has just not been able to get that sound barrier up. So they haven't had that to fend off these big incoming ults from the defense. Now back in the Mega Room, they're going to use that Amp Matrix, they're going to use that sound barrier and try to push forward, but they still lose Broccoli. That's a free shatter as Davian pushes in, finds a 3K, finds a 4K for the main tank of Dumpster Divers. What an explosive way to close out this defense, a full hold on Temple of Anubis.
Jeez. And I think a little bit of that has to do with the composition that imps was running. I don't think that D.Va was the best choice there.
I mean, you're putting your front line at an immediate disadvantage. I mean, just in the straight Ryan v. Ryan matchup. And we're talking about the head games that goes into the main tank v main tank, and it's exemplified on Ryan versus Ryan. And when you have that Zarya at your back, you have that confidence. I mean, like, your mental is strong. You know you are backed by that 190 damage. You've got those bubbles to fill the gap while you fire strike. Like, it just gives you that much more confidence to push in and get aggressive with your hammer.
I mean, I couldn't have put it any better myself, but you know, they're going to see imps switching over to that Ashe and the Junkrat. I'm curious to see how this one turns out. Ashe is probably going to be playing backs, supported by Ryan, and Senpai switching over to that Roadhog. Maybe to try and pick him, maybe try to pick a squishy out while they're trying to push.
Quite possibly, but I mean, again, I think it doesn't solve the aforementioned problem. I still think Davian's going to win the frontline war. Broccoli needs to play perfect main tank, perfect Reinhardt. If he's going to try to stand up against Davian and Shellshock, Basher has got to land some critical kills time and time again if imps want to put up another great hold. We saw him put up a 4-minute full hard on King's Row. Can they do it again?
Yes, and looking at imps, Davion going to be pushing in, and looks like they're just going to put the Mei wall and go straight to point.
They only need 33%. This is a great plan. Shepard speeding the team in. And if you look, like, Davion's shield is much better off than the imps were when they tried to do this same route, and they have not used their immortality field yet. Dumpster Divers still have resources, but Davion does go down. Senpai on that Sigma just does so much damage as well, and it looks like Utel will find the other counterpart of this tank duo, and imps will win the first engagement.
They're going to win the first engagement, but they got to be careful with that one. I think a lot of that was Basher kind of raining down damage from above.
Basher needs to continue to do it. May not be able to one-shot kill anymore with this damage boost, but, I mean, still getting a target down to, was it 10 health? Yeah, I mean, it makes for some easy cleanup.
It really does. I mean, you do have the Junkrat just pumping in so much damage, but again, you do have to be careful for Shellshot building up all of that charge.
Main wall up, and it looks like Dumpster Divers are going to go with the same plan. Rush in through main, and they continue to eat damage.
Oh, no.
They lose duds along the way. Sound barrier, well, no, it's just too far away. Shepard is only about halfway there. There's just nothing there to help keep this team alive, and imps push in and clean up.
They need to be careful with that Junkrat. He is going to be killed, but he's going to become quickly back as Junkrats have that mobility, and he is going to have that Riptire for this next fight.
Not only that, but they have the big Omnic Butler ready to go. They have both support ults and an Earth Shatter.
Bam! Bam!
Beb is doing something onto the point and shooting Davion in the back. That's 3 kills for the Butler. What a well-placed Bob. Bob indeed did something.
Bob carry for the win.
Bob POV win.
Come on. If Bob gets play the game, we need to see his POV. But come on, brother.
All right. We're looking at Gravitic Flux online for imps. I expect them to open with this Flux and then throw a tire down to help clean up. They may have to wait for the sound barrier, but if they strike quickly enough, Shepard will not have it online and ready to go. Imps cannot allow Dumpster Divers to get their tank ults off first.
They really can't, and gotta be careful. Junkrat gonna be right up top. And we're gonna get this Riptire popping out. He's gonna get Shepard only. She goes down, and we're gonna see imps
both supports
again.
Both supports and both tanks dying early. So indeed, imps do strike first, and they don't allow Dumpster Divers to use their ults, and it works well. Not only that, but they hold on to that Gravitic Flux.
That Junkrat is paying such dividends currently.
Imps are 50 seconds away from a 4-minute hold for the second time in a row. We can potentially head to map 5 with a 2-0 scoreline if imps can hang on. They do not want to get knocked out of this single elim tourney. And that's an opening kill out of Cosmo once again. Flux comes out. Oh no, but the Blizzard might have tilted it the other way. Only need 33%, and the sound barrier's there. Damian's able to get 1. Tommy gets 2. Now, there's the Ashe. Basher drops down. Another bomb on the point. Tommy is able to get Ryan no res now on the board, but Relux did get resurrected right before Ryan went down, but doesn't last long. Dubs switching onto the Widowmaker is able to pick up 2. Coalescence is out, and Dumpster Divers say no to a map 5. They end the series here. They punch their ticket on to the top 8 as they clean up with a 3-0 sweep.
With an asterisk.
Yeah, it's the 3-0 sweep with an asterisk, sure.
3-0 in one sweep.
Oh, I mean, I was convinced they're going in the last fight, but instant done it. They found the opening pick. It was so close. Oh man, if they had played as well as they did on those last 2 defenses, the extra innings defense and that defense on Anubis, if they had played like that for the entirety of the series, I think we'd be looking at a very different scoreline right now. It's like when the going got tough, imps really kicked it into gear. Unfortunately, it was just a little too late for them to pull it back. And as it stands, it's a 3-0 scoreline with Dumpster Divers moving on into our double elimination bracket starting tomorrow.
Yeah. And moving forward, Dumpster Divers played very, very, very well on their double bubble on Lijiang Tower, but they didn't. After that, they kind of just showed their brawl composition, and they kind of just went through that and kept pushing in. There's not much imps could do to stop them until these kind of last 2 maps where they had these Herculean holds. Sadly, it wasn't able to pan out for them on Anubis.
Oh man, I have a hard time picking an MVP, but if I had to choose Airborne, I think I am going to lean towards Davion.
Yeah.
Part of it is, hyper aggressive main tank play. We talked about my affinity for Reinhardt. I salute you, fellow Reinhardt player. But more than that, it's the shot calling. It's the leading of the team, knowing that they're the driving force behind this team, of both in the comms and as far as the emotion. That Davion definitely gets my vote. We want to hear from you though. I believe we are going to have an MVP voting there in chat, if I'm not mistaken. So we want to know your opinion on what you thought. That's just my humble opinion. I don't think there's any wrong answer. All the Dumpster Divers looked really good. And like we said at the beginning of the series, there's no great tank without 2 masterful supports behind them, keeping them alive and keeping them looking good.
Yes, and honestly, my MVP would have to go to Tommy.
The Tommy was my second pick. Seriously.
But he was able to come up clutch in such huge moments. He was able to turn the complexity of a fight, even if the enemy team got the first pick.
Well, and I think what's so key about Tommy's play is knowing when to go on the off angle and the time to find the flank and open up the fight in that way, and when to stay with the front line and provide that front line pressure. That can be such a tricky balance for a DPS, and Tommy seemed to know exactly where they needed to be to win those fights. So, excellent performance. Again, there's no wrong answer. The entirety of the team looked really good. So far, it looks like we are about 2/3 of you voting for Davion in that main tank role, but Tommy quickly getting votes there behind.
I'm just happy that we got a great game of Overwatch, especially near the end there. Imps made it a great game, but Dumpster Divers winning with this 3-0 sweep with a little bit of an asterisk.
Come on, give your supports a little bit of love, friends. Come on. I want to see one vote for Cosmo or Shepard. They both did great. All right, Shepard looked good all series long. Some wonderful sound barriers from her. There you go. Thank you, my friend. That's what I'm talking about. Give your support some love. Don't neglect your supports.
Always neglect the supports.
Oh, well. And we've got still a couple minutes left to decide, but Davion's still leading the charge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We're being told you got about 20 seconds left to choose here on your MVP. But like you say, applause for imps for putting up a good fight there at the end. Hate to see anybody go home, but that's the way the cookie crumbles, and it's Dumpster Divers, who are moving on. Our 4th seed will continue through, and hopefully get to see them on stream in a future date. They look great. I had a blast watching this team, and in the end, it does look like Davion is your chat chosen MVP of the match.
You got Davion and his huge hammer.
Well, that's going to do it for our first series of the day, but we're not done. We're going to return back in the intermediate division. We've got Altair Wings taking on Jack Boys when we come back. It's going to be 6 seed versus 11 seed. Big shout out to ExpressVPN for helping us support this wonderful tournament. And I can't wait to keep it going. Y'all don't go anywhere. We'll see you on the backside of this break.